Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and this is our tips and tricks guide for Krillin. So in this, as with all tips and tricks guides, we'll be covering the moveset, going over his special moves, his super moves, and the like. I also want to talk in depth about his basic key blasts, because they're pretty tricky, as you just saw right there if you don't already know. Talk about their senzu bean, talk about the rock. The rock's a really big deal, so this rock is going to get its own special section. Talking about what a terrible little greasy mix-up monster boy this guy is, because Krillin's actually one of the better mix-up characters in the game when it comes to high-low stuff, as we'll explain further on, and just a lot more stuff. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. So starting out with our special moves here, let's start with the after image move. That's quarter, circle forward, and attack button, and Krillin will shoot out a bit of a clone of himself and attack. And it's the same here, much for all the strengths here. The only real difference is the distance and also the knockdown. So if you do the light version here, on the ground specifically, as you can see here, kind of enemy bounces right back up. If you do the medium or EX versions, however, it will always be a sliding knockdown on the ground. Now, much the same in the air. If you're in the air, all versions will sliding knockdown. However, if you are not high up in the air, the version here, the light version, will not sliding knockdown. So if we do a basic thing here, let's see here, it will be a regular knockdown and the opponent gets to recover right away. So that one is height dependent. If you're always at the height of a launcher or higher up, it'll always work, but if you're not, then it won't. Now another thing that's very key about this move is you can fake out with it. So you can hold the button here and you just stay where you are. So much the same here, like, oh, you know, we can do this in the air, but then, oh, psych out, I just did it for real. We can also kind of use it for weird little cross-up, mix-up, so like, hey, which side am I going to be on, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, which side to block that. You know, which side to block the Yamcha, right? Like, you block on this side or the other side, and it's all dependent on whether or not you let go of the button. So, there is some manner of mix-ups with this. Now, there's also a little bit of a mix-up game where you can do it in the corner. Like, that's an overhead, by the way. You have to block that standing, you block crouching, you're going to hit. Or you can just go fake out and go for a low. So it has its own kind of can mix-up in it to boot. So it's a pretty fun and pretty tricky move. And also, very good in combos. You're generally going to end most combos with in the corner. You have to do a key blast that have enough hits done for it to connect, just so you know. But yeah, just a pound for pound, really good move. The senzu bean and the rock are going to get its own section, so we're just going to move along to the Kamehameha. And Krillin's is a little bit unique, so he can do it on the ground, he can do it in the air, I see here, so that's immediately and infinitely handy. Having a beam is a great thing to have, period, in this game, and he also has an air beam, so all the better yet. But the one thing that's different about Krillin is he can hold his a little bit. So I held it there, and he can also hold it while he's in the air, as you see here. So whenever you let go of the button, as long as you're holding it, that's when it'll let go. However, if you jump with it, as soon as you hit the ground, you will let go. But, you know, you can super jump, and then hold it, you know, let go whenever. You can kind of just do whatever you want with it. As soon as you hit that ground, you're going to let go. But still, it's a good fake out. Don't do this too much, because you're just going to get banished and smacked for your troubles, because that's not going to save you in that regard. But still, you can delay just a smidge to see what's going on. You can kind of align yourself with your enemy's height. And then when you're the right height, you can let go. So you don't get punished, because if you are at a wildly different height than the opponent, if I do it from here, they can just freely homing dash from underneath it and punish me. And there's not much I can do about it, because, you know, I can't defend myself. So in that regard, you know, it gives you a little bit more leeway than some of the other ones. But still, once again, it's a beam, it's great, it's fantastic, can't say much more than that. So next up is the Solar Flare. Now honestly, I don't like this move. First up, it's not even Krillin's move, it's Tien's move, so I don't know why Tien doesn't have it, but whatever. Besides that, so the one thing it'll do is no damage. It has quite a bit of hit stun, as you see here, but this move is also negative on block to boot. If you do it in the middle of a combo, it's just going to add more hit stun, that is, say, more decay to the combo damage. It'll move you further in the damage scaling. Unless, you know, kind of you're already peaked out. What it will do at the end of a combo is be faster than some other moves. So if you go, say, whatever into Solar Flare, you can always make sure your super will connect, whereas sometimes in a very long combo it might miss. But for the most part, I don't find it too useful. Now, I know there are certain mix-ups and certain gimmicks where, like, I can snap back and make you guess left, right, but then again, there was a patch a couple months ago that really reduced its effectiveness because it was meant to, change it was help put and stop those kind of gimmicks. And there's like some wake-up options where you can knock someone down, and you can kind of cover a bunch of the options because of the hitbox is fairly large. But then again, the Rock's infinitely better at it than the Solar Flare is. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a dead move, but it's certainly the least of his moves. So Krillin only has 2 super moves here. The level 1 is the ever-infallible Destructo Disc, and the level 3 is the Scatter Kamehameha Wave. The Destructo Disc is really interesting because there's multiple applications besides, you know, just tossing it at the enemy here. So, you know, you throw it, it hits, that's great. But it is also a quick recovering super, meaning certain sets that have long hit stun, we can kind of get a bit of a follow-up, and then we can do another one. And not only that, like, that was a Dragon Rush afterwards too, so it wasn't just me doing one, then doing a second one. So we can get a good deal more damage than the average thing. So anything that has like a long amount of hit stun, like, you know, the Go Tanks, and we'll show you a couple bit more here. So with the help of a beam and the Solar Flare, we can get an extra Destructo Disc in there. And of course, Vegeta being Vegeta, well, we don't need too much sense of, you know, any kind of real timing or whatever. Vegeta makes everything so easy when it comes to recombos. So yeah, these are just some examples here of using other assists that can let you get multiple Destructo Discs in there. Now, another aspect of the Destructo Disc is you can check out multiples. So in total, if you have the bar to do it, you can burn 5 bars on the Destructo Disc. Now, this is not as, you know, meter efficient as, like, you know, doing one, then, you know, calling in your partner and all that kind of stuff, to be sure. But it is an option if you got a lot of bar to dump and maybe you have no partner to tag into. Now, just one thing to know. Each one has less minimum scaling than the first one. And the second one has the second most. And the potential 3, 4, and 5 Destructo Discs all kind of have the same lowest possible minimum scaling. But once again, if you got a dump bar, well, Krillin's your boy because he can dump some bar. Now, when it comes to level 3 moves, Krillin is somewhat unique. So yeah, like, he shoots the thing happens. Kind of the same for everyone, right? Well, a little bit different for Krillin, so say it's blocked. So even if the move's blocked, that animation's still going to play out. And if you're not aware how to hit Krillin fast enough, and spoiler, you can just fan run forward, but it's a good beginner's trap, let's put it that way. Because some people are paralyzed by the fact this is still happening, and they don't know what to do afterwards. Now, on top of that, it's actually one of the more savage post-level 3 mix-up situations any level 3 super can give you, because I'm just going to hold up just so we can see. So you see here, I'm still jumping while there's a lot of visual noise on the screen. And the opponent only gets up from their mandated hard recovery knockdown time only right after that visual noise is cleared up. So basically, long story short, you can't see the mix-up until the mix-up has already happened. So be it high, low, whatever, Krillin gets to hide in the debris of the explosion, and then he can kind of do his thing while it's going on. On top of that, since you recover while it's happening, you can hide yourself in it if you're close enough. Like, hey, in the middle of that explosion, I tossed a rock. And of course, from there, you know, I can make you attack high, you know, I can attack low, I can do this, and like empty dash in, then go low, and there's a lot more. We'll talk about that in the mix-up section. But yeah, when it comes to the post level 3 mix-up, Krillin's got one of the better ones in the game, to be sure. So now let's talk about Krillin's basic Ki Blast. So everyone's got the basic Ki Blast button and all that, but Krillin's a little more unique than everyone else. So first up, let's just take the basic one here. So 2 hitting, except, whoa, we can go a little crazy with it. And much the same in the air, so we can shoot him straight across, or we can angle him downwards. So there's a lot of little potential in here. Now, you're not too often gonna just randomly toss this out in neutral, but after, say, you get some sort of sliding knockdown, you can just kind of toss it out, and it'll always cover you. And if the only way they want out of it without having to block is the homing dash, that's still predictable, and you can down heavy it. And yes, I know Krillin's down heavies, maybe the least of everyone's in the game, but still, it's an interesting choice. Now, on top of that, we can also hold down, and this also works in the air, and down in Ki Blast is a straight downwards blow. And if you do it on the ground, it'll give you some momentum upwards. Now, on top of that, now if you hold down back or down forward instead of just down, you can kind of angle yourself with it, as you can see here. and much the same in the air. So this is actually super applicable in combos. So even something basic like this. That gives us a different combo route than the usual style of combo in the corner for a lot of characters, right? And this is also going to be home of some of the mix-up we'll see later on. It's just some very interesting stuff. So between the crazy angles you can play out with some of the basic key blasts here, and the kind of short hop jump that the down and key blast explosion gives him, it just plays into some really interesting techniques for Krillin. Now, for the Senzu Bean and the Rock, we're going to split these into two subsections here because they are different things, even though it is the exact same input. First, let's start with the Senzu Bean. Now, unlike some people, Krillin has the good sense to give the Senzu Bean to his allies and not his enemies. So, if Krillin's on point, because this move is also his assist, how to activate the Senzu Bean is like this. So normally, we toss our rocks here. That's Slight Rock, Medium Rock, EX Rock. Now if we take any amount of damage, and we have any amount of blue health to work with, then when we toss the rocks, Light is still Light, Medium is still Medium. However, EX is now a Senzu Bean. And you see here, it always tosses it behind him, and it'll recover his blue health. Now, if Krillin tosses it, and he does not recover it, the enemy can still totally pick it up, as you see there. That is a threat and a possibility, just so you know. Now that said, you can only throw so many Senzu Beans. So, if we keep getting hit, we are not going to have an infinite supply. You only have 3 Senzu Beans to work with. So keep that in mind, keep mental track if you are using Senzu Beans to recover yourself. You only have 3 to work with per match. So you don't have an infinite supply of, infinite blue health regeneration. Now, much the same here. We're just going to reset the progress here. Now we're going to tag in our buddy. If the buddy is hurt and they have recoverable health, now if we call in Krillin the assist, it's going to be the Rock. So what you have to do is hold backwards, backwards to whatever direction relative you're facing. Hold backwards and assist, and then Krillin will toss the Senzu Bean. So you can even do things like, finish whatever combo you got. You got blue health. Hey, do this. Call the assist to cover your yourself while the enemy's waking up, and then, get your health back, right? And much the same if we have Krillin on the assist here, so we can do something, knock him down. And have Krillin toss this little Senzu Bean, handy dandy, while the enemy's knocked down. So once again, call Krillin and hold backwards. So you don't hold backwards while calling him, but you call him first and then you hold backwards. And if you have any amount of blue recoverable health, he will toss a Senzu Bean instead of the Rock. So you can always control which one you get. So the Rock. This move is incredibly powerful. It is powerful enough to fell a Super Saiyan. And you might say, well, what's the big deal? The Rock, look at the damage. It doesn't do much damage. And yeah, no, it doesn't really do much damage. Like, even if you throw a lot of these guys, it's not going to do a lot of damage. But what it does do is this. It locks you down. What I mean by that is just something simple like this. I'm just going to do super basic, knock down whatever combo. Toss the Rock. Cool. So, now if I came right at you and you did the back roll wake up, there's nothing you can do. Like, you got to block it. If you don't block it, cool, I get another combo, right? And if you did block it, cool, it's time for you to eat my pressure. It's just a complete lockdown move because of the angle and all that. It completely bounces off walls, you can see here. And I'm going to show you here an example in the corner because that's kind of where it's strongest. So, Bubba, real basic combo, doesn't really matter what it is, toss it off. That was an up tech. So, up tech didn't save you. You either block or you get hit and then I can just down heavy you and combo you. So let's say, okay, well, I'm going to be real smart and tricky, right? I'm going to do a max delay wake up. Rock don't care. Rock's still going to hit you. So, and just in case you think you're clever, well, I'm going to do something here. So when Krillin tosses that Rock, I'm going to smack him. Cool, the Rock doesn't go away if Krillin gets hit. So if you did try to hit him, the Rock's going to hit you. And if Krillin recovers fast enough, depending on what it is, Krillin gets another full combo. So this move is just dominance on your wake up. That's what it is. Mid-screen, there's options. Because mid-screen, you don't have to just do the full back roll, right? So if you kind of get up more in place versus the full back roll, say the far Rock will completely miss, right? And then it should have done a close Rock. But in the corner, this is where it is super dominant. Now, once again, this is also his assist, just like the senzu bean. So, say you have a character with not great post knockdown game here, we can just kind of do it in place of it, right? We can just have our assist, toss the rock, and that's our post wake up game. And once again, they'll do no damage for the most part, but it'll keep them in place, and then you can go for whatever you gotta do, you know, kind of high-low, any kind of gimmick you got, go for it. But the rock is the ultimate in just keeping people locked down while you can figure out your next gimmick, your next mix-up, or your next whatever you can think of. Rock is king in this regard. So the light rock has kind of a more shallow angle. The medium rock obviously goes further. And the EX rock, while a complete waste of bar from a damage perspective, it recovers the quickest of all the options. So you'll recover much faster. And depending on where you are relative to the enemy, the light rock can bounce a little further towards you, and characters that are a bit slimmer might miss if they wake up and do nothing, but if they extend their hitbox in any way, shape, or form, it'll connect. So once again, maybe on the very slim characters might miss. In this specific scenario I'm showing you right here, if you toss the rock at this angle, like say after a combo or something, you're a little closer to the ground and that happens. But for anyone else, like Goku's a naturally wide character, but if they stick on any button, they're going to get hit. Anyways, I just want to really hammer home the point. You toss the rock on their wake up, especially in the corner, they just got to hold that. That's all they can do. The only thing they can do at that point is just go crazy and go like wake up level 3 or something. And some level 3s don't have enough invincibility, and the rock's going to smack them anyways, just so you know. It is just kind of the ultimate weapon in post-knockdown technology. Now, let's talk about Krillin being a really greasy little mix-up boy. So, I know a lot of people think, oh, the mix-up characters, you know, Cell, Gotenks, Kid Buu, especially with like all manner of assists and all that. Krillin can really put out some mix-ups himself. So it's all based on the rock and the downwards ki blast. So the two big kind of through lines with both these guys is this. So the rock and the down ki blast, both of them, he recovers before he lands. Meaning, I toss a rock, and as you see here, get a faint glimmer of a jab in there. So I can toss it and like that's an instant overhead, or I can toss it and like, you know, go for a low, right? And more importantly, I can toss it, go for an air dash. So even, I don't gotta even be directly beside you to keep following up on you. And much the same here for the down S. I can instant air dash afterwards, you know, I can hit a button afterwards, and I can also angle it like a jump, right? So I can do this and then go for maybe a mix-up, or, you know, fake double cross-up, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to show you an example here with some quote-unquote bad assists. Because, you know, we have your Gotenks assists, you know, your Yamchas, your Kid Buus, all that. Great, fantastic lockdown assists. So no one considers Android 21 or Majin Buu great lockdown assists, but I'm just going to show you what's possible here with a basic block string and tossing a rock. So now we're just going to do a very basic block string into a rock toss. So you see here, the assist pushes back just in the right sweet spot distance of the rock being able to come and hit. And much the same here for Android 21. And the timing was a little bit off. There was a small gap there, but still, you can make these airtight, and this only gets better with way better assists, right? So I'm purposely using bad assists just to show you the setup works. And with a Kid Buu or Gotenks or Yamcha assists, this just gets a lot crazier. But since we're now in that position, we have now tossed the rock from that position, right? So we can now kind of force our will on the enemy, because once again, no matter what they do, if they try to hit us or whatever, they will get smacked by the rock in return, because if Krillin gets hit, it doesn't matter, the rock is going to stay where it's going to be. So in that specific sweet spot position now, so we did a cross up there, just to show you. We can cross up with both the medium and heavy. The timing's a little strict, and it's only going to work on crouching people, just so you know. But that is a possibility. So we did that, so let's now just try a normal front-facing attack. So that was just a much more straightforward. They still have to block standing, but that one's same side. So now on a crouching foe, we have the option to hit same side or cross up. Standing foe is just going to be more of a same side experience, because you won't be able to cross up over the head while they're standing. And if we just want to be not fancy at all, it puts us at the exact right distance to hit our crouch medium kick. So we, in essence, have a 3-way mix-up, 2-way after standing, and of course that just, you know, says you want to work within these boundaries, right? Because as soon as you land from the rock toss, you can just instant overhead again, or, you know, dragon rush, or instant overhead into nothing if you want to be really tricky, into a dragon rush or attack or whatever. So that's just a lot of possibilities from that alone. And once again, these are 2 assists with not a lot of block stun. Assists with greater block stun, this gets a lot trickier. Like, during the rock toss and the dash, they do have the option to level 3, sure. Against assists with a lot more block stun, they won't even have that option. That's just to show you that even with quote-unquote bad assists, we can still get these kind of mix-ups off. So now let's use 2 of the better lockdown assists, just to show you now some of the other stuff possible. And we'll use the down and S mix-up stuff. So the block string doesn't honestly particularly matter. You will have to find out the variance between the block string and when to call the assist and go for other stuff. Because not every assist, you know, starts at the same time. Go Tanks is a little slower, Yamcha's a lot faster, but just a very basic example here. So let's just do this, call Yamcha. So once again, here we can go for an overhead. We can kind of sneak in a low. Since we can angle our jump, we can go the other side. So we can go for a low there. We can go for a dragon rush. We can even be a little tricky, like, you know, guess which side the homing dash is on. Because that's like the same side. That one's a cross up. You gotta really learn which one to block. Because you can kind of 50-50 just on the homing dash alone. You can also get a cross up as well, depending on your timing. See right there, that had to be blocked backwards. So there's just so many permutations here. The longer the hit stun the assist gives you, the crazier you can go. With rock tosses, with all sorts of guess what direction I'm going to be on after the down S, and all thanks to, well, not all thanks to, but a big point, and thanks to the fact that you can air dash cancel out of it, because you get to recover first. And of course, you know, you just go like, hey, you know, I don't need to be fancy, you know, I'm just gonna land, then I'll dragon rush, or I'll land and try any sort, just as long as you have an assist to back Krillin up. And because of this, I do think Krillin's a much better point character, you can get really tricky on this stuff. Now, it's not quite as autopilot as like Cell is with a Kid Buu assist, you know, or Kid Buu himself with a really good assist to back him up, but it's just to go to show you that Krillin has some chops in the mix-up category. It's not the best in the game to be sure, but don't sleep on him because he can do a lot of stuff. Now, as for Krillin's general game plan, I do very strongly believe Krillin should be the point character of your team, meaning he should be the first guy up. For one, the whole, you know, mix-up section we just went over, because he can't really do the stuff solo. He does need the help of his assist. And for two, while his assist is pretty interesting, you know, with the rock being able to cover wake-ups and all that stuff, and the possibility of Senzu being to return health to a character, it's not very catch-all. It's certainly not as useful as, like, you know, a beam or Vegeta's assist or something like that. It doesn't have that universal appeal that all the characters can enjoy. It's very much a time and a place kind of assist, so it's not as eminently useful to say a different point character as one of those would be. Therefore, with these two things combined, I do think he should be the kind of front character. Now that said, besides just that, Krillin's better off than some people give him credit for. They're like, yeah, I know down heavy sucks. Like, you know, that's kind of the eternal thing, right? But his neutral's not bad. Like, yeah, he's kind of fling himself at you for, like, you know, some basic stuff, right? But the fact that his jump medium is 2 hits, so if you're trying to catch people, you know, running around in the air and all that stuff, it gives you more time to work with than some other things. So then you can then hit confirm into a down heavy and combo from there. And some other characters, you know, since you got to hit a lot of buttons, that's a little trickier. Krillin, since he has a double hitter, does all the timing for you. And in that, since these are, like, you know, very key match swing potential moments, I find that eminently useful. And that said, too, like, yo, he's got the beam, right? He's got a beam. He can do it in the air. You can kind of roll with it a little bit just to really kind of gauge where you are. Like, that's always helpful. Like, not a lot of characters will kill to have a proper beam, right? And a lot of characters that have beam can't do it in the air, and he can do both. So he doesn't have, say, maybe the god angle of the beam Cell has, but the fact that he can rock the beam and all that is just really good. Now, another thing, too. So we talked in the special move section about the after image, so he can kind of either fake out with it or go with it for real and get the knockdown. So The one thing, if you're against this, I would say is just don't stand up. Because if you stand up and then get hit by the fake out in the medium, that's a lot more health than this is, right? But still, depending on your team makeup, you can make the threat of it, you know, pretty devastating. As you can kind of go for mix-up here and just really kind of get a lot of damage and make them really want to be scared to block standing. So you hit him with one of these, the next time, okay, I just lost half my life, I'm totally going to block standing, and that's when you can go for one of those and get your full combo from there, right? It's kind of the most basic level tricky stuff, but you know what? Just because it's basic never means it's bad. That's one thing I always harp on a lot of these videos. Basic is never a bad thing, and for Krillin, thankfully, he's got that in his tool belt. And as we went over a little bit too in the move section, you can do really gimmicky, childish stuff like, you know, like, hey, I'm going to do this, and call an assist. And like, hey, guess what? Am I on this side, you know, or hey, am I on this side, and the assist is going to come the other way? Like, it's the most basic baby stuff, but if it works and you get your hit in, go for it, man. Like, it's totally worth it. Like, get your damage wherever you can, and since Krillin has these tricks available to him, just work with it. And besides that, we dedicated a whole section to it, to be sure, but make sure you toss that rock, especially in the corner. This is Krillin's biggest upside, that he gets to really dominate people's wake-up, that they kind of have to be scared to press any kind of button or try and challenge you on anything, because you have the looming threat of the rock on you at all given times. Because once again, even if they succeed, they tap you, right? The rock's going to smack them anyways, and they just lost a turn. And depending when it hit, even worse yet, it could be the end of them. And as you see there, if they wake up in place, you can still get Dragon Rush 2. If they up tech, then while the rock's going to smack them, they block, they have to fall to the ground anyways. It just deals with so much stuff. Like, Krillin is especially blessed in this regard, because a lot of people have to worry, like, well, I got this cool setup, it only works on back tech or delay tech, and up tech ruins it. Like, Krillin doesn't have to care about that kind of stuff. So he's fully unique in that regard, and that's a big feather in his cap. Like, I think Krillin's such a better character than people give him credit for. Certainly not top tier, at least in this current time. Maybe a future patch, you know, a year from now, he's the top as a tiers or something, but for now, he's not. But still, he's got a really good toolbox. That's kind of the biggest thing in fighting games that really helps people out, is it's not necessarily always how much damage you do, but how many options do you have. And when it comes to options, Krillin is not hurting for options. Between that, like, once again too, he's got a really nastier than most post level 3 wake up game, because you can be partially obscured what you're doing while the enemy's still waking up, because they only wake up right after the explosion particle effects are gone. So I can just do it, I can toss a rock, and then, you know, hey, guess, you know, I tossed a rock while I was doing that, and during that, you know, I can go this, like, if you're in the corner combo, always play the right range, go for a down medium. It's just so many things you can do. His mix-up game is above average. Maybe it's not the best, but it's certainly above average. Better people give credit for. He's got a lot of options post level 3. Once again, his neutral is not bad. The fact that he's got a beam, and the fact that he's got super easy hit confirms when you're just gonna fling yourself and try to catch people in the air. It just works out pretty decently. And of course, you know, if they're in the air and they block, since, you know, you have plenty of time to hit confirm as well. Like, you know, that's decent block string, sure, right? Like, it just all kind of works out. Krillin is a pretty decent character. And so that concludes our video for today. So Krillin's got some pretty interesting stuff going on. He's certainly not the best character, but he's got, you know, more than people think he can work with. So I hope this video helped illuminate some of these possibilities for you. And that is that for that video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.